welcome to the Leverage Living podcast. This is our first weekly update. So I have Bryce along with me. I hope you had time to watch the intro that we uploaded, and we're excited to get into our first weekly dive into some real content.
Yep. So I'm just going to start with the prior week recap here. So the index, it closed, it was down negative 1.86%. We saw quite a bit of a tumble on Friday. Closed out a rocky week, down big note. Tech stocks extended the week-long sell-off. They dragged Wall Street down. There are pretty encouraging developments that we saw, but there are some high-profile tech stocks that ended down. Amazon, Facebook, Apple, they're all down. The NASDAQ.
All the big names, really.
Yeah. The NASDAQ had its worst levels since July 31st.
Yeah, and I was going to speak quick about when you start to look at, just because they're the stocks that are in the indexes, they're weighted by market cap. So as these tech companies have ballooned throughout the year, you're starting to see a lot of similarities between S&P and NASDAQ. So with the NASDAQ selling off like it did, it is really impactful in the broad market. Yep.
And the S&P logged losses too. So
yeah,
that pushed all the way down to a 6-week low.
Wow.
So it was a pretty interesting week. All three major market indexes were falling down pretty, like, for 3 weeks straight now. So it's pretty crazy. We're seeing how Apple just recently released a new batch of products and it was still down. I mean,
yeah,
that's nuts.
I think,
why?
Yeah, I saw they released their new watch and some other things. They didn't come out with a new iPhone, though. Was it supposed to be the 12?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of news on it, but I don't think it's official yet.
Yeah, I don't think they dropped it at the release. So
they're showing some teasers, though, for sure. Yeah. We wanted to talk about TikTok too.
FinTok.
FinTok. So Trump recently gave a tentative approval for the deal that would keep TikTok open in the U.S. He's going to be starting a new entity called TikTok Global, going through Walmart
Trump's
and
not
Oracle.
Starting one, but TikTok. But
my bad.
Trump's had his hands in this one, I think, to a level that you've never seen a political intervention in terms of a merger needing to happen and stuff. So there's been a lot of news to keep up on with what's going to happen with TikTok. And
FinTok.
FinTok, TikTok. Was today supposed to be the last day that you could download in the US?
Sunday night.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Sunday night, hurry up and go download TikTok.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might be.
I think there's probably a lot of influencers that are pretty happy and are keeping a close eye on this deal, because that's a large source of income for a lot of people. So
for sure. And it's a good way to get your brand out too.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's going with Oracle and Walmart, you find that interesting? I think that's kind of a strange combination of partners.
Yeah, I do find it interesting. I definitely see I see the appeal for any large company to want to go after a company like that. But the front runner early on was Walmart. And just in terms of the ecosystem that Walmart has, that Microsoft has, it seems like it would have made more sense with Microsoft. So it is interesting. I'm wondering what led to the ultimate decision with Oracle and Walmart. Another kind of interesting pairing too. So it'll be. I'm curious to see how this one unfolds.
For Walmart, I think it's a merch thing. I think they're going to sell merchandise, TikTok based, from different users, the popular ones. So, I mean, maybe that's an avenue that they were trying to get down. And
I think it'll be really good for Walmart, because you look at Amazon and you look at Walmart. If you look at the valuation metrics, I mean, Amazon's trading at a much higher multiple than Walmart. I mean, Walmart's a fantastic.
Oh yeah,
but it doesn't have the recognition of being a tech company, even though they've had a lot of success and they're growing e-commerce sales at an incredible rate. So I think Walmart's hoping that having this household name, this popular social platform, TikTok, being associated with it, will maybe give it that sex appeal that Amazon has.
For sure. And I'm sure it will. It's insanely popular, and with all the buzz that's been going on around it over the past month of it being canceled every single week, seemingly, they're getting a lot of. I mean, they say no news is, or what's the quote?
No news is good news.
All press is good press or bad press.
Bad press.
Yeah, there you go. I knew you had it.
Let me ask you this, Bryce.
Yeah, what's up?
So let's say TikTok, they IPO, they become a public company. I think I just saw they're rumored to be looking for maybe 50, 60 million for their initial valuation. Would you be an investor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, I would. There's so much money and hype around it, and these days hype does do wonders.
So let me expand on that question for you. I'm kind of curious. So let's say that we're in the early innings of social media again. Facebook and TikTok. Let's say they were both to IPO again, or sorry, Facebook was to IPO at the same time as TikTok, and let's even make it crazier and say Instagram was separate too. Which one of those three, kind of the powerhouses, do you have the most conviction about?
To me, it's TikTok for sure. Because Facebook has a bunch of users, and that's where everybody started. Everybody has an account. That was kind of the first major one.
And everybody's grandma.
And everybody's grandma. And that was the first major social media gathering place.
Yeah.
So, but now it's, like I said, the hype around TikTok is insane. And there's so many people on it, billions of people around the world interacting. You can scroll, you can see anybody, and it's random, So, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the two because it's not the same sort of social media. You can talk to you can't talk to your grandma on TikTok.
No.
Unless she's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. You do see some grandmas on there for content.
You do.
But, I think the value of TikTok is not only the way the platform works. I mean, I've used TikTok. I think you were kind of the one who got me started to give it a download. And I didn't have much else to do when we were in lockdown. So it's definitely addicting. It catches your eyes. But a lot of the value from a marketplace perspective is what eyes TikTok is catching. And that's the Gen Zers. So
exactly.
Walmart's perspective, especially when you're captivating that young consumer who's going to begin their journey with purchasing power now, and you have their attention on TikTok, that's a higher value than grandma and grandpa posting pictures of the grandkids on Facebook. So I think
and you're seeing those annoying ads on the right side of the screen that you're never gonna. It's insane, and like the algorithms in TikTok too. Yeah, they show you what you want to see. They do an insane job of doing that, and that's what gets you addicted and keeps you scrolling. And
I think the platform seems kind of like a democratized platform, like it's on a level playing field. If you're browsing the internet, you might see an ad for a YouTube video of Logan Paul, a very successful YouTuber. You get suggested things from people who kind of are in the success realm already. But TikTok, you might see frequently on the For You page videos of people who are posting their third video. So if you have good content, it's an opportunity to be seen and to accumulate a lot of views quick.
Yeah, definitely levels the playing field in that regard for sure. Yeah. There's a couple more IPOs that I wanted to touch on quickly from last week, JFrog and Snowflake. So when those two both released, JFrog was Wednesday, Snowflake was, I believe, Thursday or Friday.
I think it was Snowflake might have been Wednesday or Thursday too.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, there was insatiable demand for those, like as soon as they opened up, and then we saw sell-off. So IPOs, I think they might be going away because of, you know why.
Maybe the S-Pack's the better route.
Maybe, unless you're Nikola and do you want to get into Nikola because they had that Hindenburg research
Well,
paper and
yeah, I think
what do you think?
I wanted to touch on one more thing before that, in regards to J Frog and Snow and those IPOs. I do think, the first day on those was incredible. They
Hmm.
both kind of ran parabolically. They did sell off quite a bit since, but I think that might have been partially responsible for, the drawdown that we saw in some of those big tech names, Apple, Amazon, last
Your
week.
Facebook, yeah,
Yeah, so I think people were maybe putting a little money on the sidelines, getting ready to deploy it into some of these hot IPOs. So it'll be
for sure.
interesting to see what that landscape looks like going forward. But yeah, I think let's talk a little bit about Nikola. That one's it's been a tumultuous couple of weeks for Mr. Milton.
Yep. Mr. Milton, the CFO of Nikola Motors, he he has an answer for everything.
Yeah, on
We know
Twitter.
that. Yeah, on Twitter and on Instagram. He does Trolls with Trevor on Tuesdays. We haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks.
No.
They came out with the Hindenburg report. They came out with the report that was going through all of their documentation and all the studies they brought out and their investor reports going through, and they just fine-tooth comb through
Yeah.
all this stuff, and they came up with a long report just picking apart Nikola for it being fraudulent.
Yeah.
And
Definitely seems
Trevor,
like there was some misleading stuff going on.
for sure. And then we see Trevor Milton go dark. He deletes some tweets.
Yep.
SEC is in the middle of it now. They're doing the investigation. So, I mean, I guess we'll have to touch on it next week, see what happens.
Yeah. Something to keep an
It's
eye
going to be
on.
interesting.
And if the SEC is getting involved, I mean, there definitely may be some validity to the findings that Hindenburg put out. It may make that hot air balloon, look like look like not much of a disaster. So,
Yeah, it's going to
and
be interesting.
I've had concerns too on Trevor Milton as leader of the company. It's certainly great to see someone engaging with the general public, but sometimes it seems he's a little too interested in the stock price. So I wouldn't rule out some misleading things by him in regards to investors.
I 100% agree with that. I think we leave it at that for now
Yeah,
and talk about some more SPACs that are going crazy last week.
yeah. So last week we had a couple really kind of hot runners, and these are ones that you and I both own that had a really good week. And we were talking a little bit last week too. It's really fun when you have a week that's volatile in the general market with the broad indexes and it's finishing down. And for Bryce and I, our investment consensus now through the end of fourth quarter for sure is really to be pretty heavy in the SPACs. Not to take anything away from the traditional stock market, but we see there being a lot of volatility and definitely some nervousness leading up to the election. So we have a lot of our portfolio in SPACs, and we want to run through a few that had a really good run last week. One of the top performers was SBE Energy. So, or Switchback Energy under the ticker SBE. That's an SPAC that announced, a rumor came out actually, or speculation, that they're going to be merging with ChargePoint Inc. And ChargePoint Inc. is one of the oldest and largest electronic vehicle charging networks there is essentially in the world. So if they were to go public with a reverse merger through Switchback, that'd be a huge deal. This is an ancillary service or an ancillary investment opportunity from the electronic vehicle space, which has just been a hot space for quite a while now. So
Yeah.
just that rumor alone pushed Switchback Energy up over 42% last week.
Yeah, it was a fun week to be involved in that one.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then
And I bought a little more towards the tail end of the week too, for the official announcement to come out. So
right, and like you said, is pretty speculative, but the source was a pretty well known source.
Yeah.
So we'll take that as a grain of salt. I mean, we'll move on and see what comes out next week. Hopefully, it's like you said, the official merger, and we're already in it. So Time to get on the rocket ship.
Um, so Workhorse, that was up about 30% last week. What went on there?
So Workhorse isn't a SPAC, really. The owner of Workhorse owns Lordstown Motors. He created Workhorse, and then he left Workhorse to start this SPAC with Lordstown Motors through Diamond Peak Holdings Company. So with that being said, the USPS contract for Workhorse, it's coming nearer and nearer, and it's a $6 billion contract. So I think as time progresses, they're supposed to announce between the 25th and 30th of September, end of Q3 is what they say. So I think that had to do a lot with the run-up of Workhorse to that 30%. And I think that it'll keep going until that contract's announced, because it's hype.
Yeah, I think
you give a company $6 billion and she's gonna go.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of momentum about that. And sometimes with those big announcements around SPACs or these smaller companies, it gives the company a little more validation, which excites the market even more. So
yeah. And then a couple more SPACs from our boy Shamat.
Shamat's the sultan of SPACs.
He is. And he bought IPO A through Z. Is that right?
It's SPAC soup, I think, or alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup of
SPACs, yeah.
Yep. So we got into IPO B and IPO C last week. IPO B announced a merger with Opendoor.
Yeah.
What exactly is Opendoor?
Opendoor should be a pretty exciting one, and Shamat said that's his next 10x idea, and he has a really successful track record being a billionaire investor. So Opendoor brings a technology platform to the real estate industry. So they have their own software and use their own algorithm. They kind of give an offer to somebody to purchase their home. So using a realtor in a traditional listing process, Opendoor identifies and solicits these people to buy their homes. They know the scope of work they need to do. So it's kind of like a home flipping company in a sense. So it's driven by technology.
Right. Is it comparable to like Zillow then?
I'm not sure what Zillow's. I think they both have similar technological insights potentially, and I'm not sure that Zillow's engaging. Maybe they are with the buying and flipping of homes, but it's been a high growth area for Opendoor, and
for sure.
And getting this, coming public and getting more capital. I think you can definitely see that concept expanding. So.
Definitely. And then IPOC, there was no news yet on that one, but it still ran 12% because of the guy involved.
Yeah, it's part of the investment consensus there, or thesis there is, this is another one with Shamat, and he took Virgin Galactic through the SPAC. That was incredibly successful. He's one of the people that kind of, I'm not going to say pioneered SPACs because they have been around for a while, but he made him sexy again. So if his name is behind one, and he's doing the alphabetical listing, so it's just natural that people are going to start speculating on IPOC now that IPOB has a target announced.
Right. And when CP says jump, we say how high when it comes to SPACs.
Yes, we do.
Another big one, which is my personal favorite, is SHLL. That's the ticker symbol. Tortoise Acquisition Company. They're merging with Hyliion. Hyliion, hybrid lithium ion is what that stands for. So Thomas Healy, CEO, speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yep. Gotta love it.
He is not like Trevor Milton. He doesn't tweet much. He keeps quiet. And I think that's a good change of pace, because we're seeing that stock week after week going up double digits.
Yeah.
This week was a slow week. It only went up 9.78%.
Yeah, that's, and especially the market being down. It's really tough to own something that only does 10% in a week.
Yeah, exactly. And last week it ran 13%. And with that merger coming at the end of Q3 too, we expect it to keep going up.
Yeah.
Nikola, it's a comparable idea to Nikola. They're doing semi trucks, and we saw Nikola run up all the way to 93 the day
Yeah.
after it merged. And that was, we're, like I said, it's more information to come, but that was kind of a smoke and mirrors thing
So,
as of now. But
do you have some lofty expectations for Helion, huh?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I think if Nikola can push to 93, then Helion can sit at 100 plus because
Yeah.
they're a legit company with sales. They have vehicles on the road already, whereas Nikola won't have vehicles on the road until 2022. So
Yeah. That's
to
a
me,
great point.
I think that's going to be a winner for sure.
Um, I'll talk a little bit about so Pershing Square and FMCI, which is Forum Merger Corporation. Those were both up just over 7% last week. Pershing Square, we're going to probably talk about this one frequently going forward. It's one of the favorites for both Bryce and I. This is Bill Spackman's baby. So
Bill Spackman.
Bill Spackman's baby. This is going to be the largest SPAC to identify and merge with the company. So we pushed a lot of the chips in on day one when this came out and opened up. It's actually had just a nice run without any news since then. So it's been a good place to be. But we see an aggressive future for this one as the targets identified.
And with PSTH, that one opened up. All the other SPACs open up at $10. This one opened up at 20.
Yep.
And he raised $4 billion for this one. So that's the biggest by almost 4 times.
Yeah,
right now.
So they're looking for a late stage unicorn. Initial speculation was around Airbnb. So it's going to be a company of that caliber is what we're thinking.
Yeah, pretty excited for that one.
And to speak about FMCI, that's the company for a merger. They have an agreement with Tattooed Chef, which is a plant-based alternative food company. So they have a lot of different plant-based meals. And, we kind of compare the valuation to a Beyond Meat. So we still think, I think this is just sub 30 for what's trading at. Bryce and I got in around 14. We still think there's some room to grow, and that merger should be completed before the end of the year. So that was up 7.5% last week. We still think, like I said, there's a lot of runway ahead for a merger.
For sure. That's a huge market too. I mean,
yeah, huge.
The plant-based
current
foods.
market, and it's growing. Growing like a weed, which is a plant. So
you can eat them. So tell us about some of our biggest losers we had in the SPAC realm.
Yeah, so we own a little bit of Graph, and that's one that's Velodyne LiDAR. So it's technology for self-driving and some artificial intelligence. So we've been in that one too since the teens, and it's had a healthy run. I think this might just be a little pullback. It was down over 10% last week, but it's another one that's anticipated to complete its merger in before the end of this year. And we've seen price targets on this one pretty commonly around 50 or more per share. So it was probably a good buying opportunity last week, to be honest.
For sure. I like that one a lot, and I have high hopes for that one as well. Not as big as Helion, but it's going to have the technology there is outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one that I want to talk about was TRNE is a ticker symbol.
Yep.
That is for Desktop Metal, merging with I don't know what the blank check company is called, but it's Taunton Square. No.
Yeah, so Tontine Holdings or something. It's a weird name, but
yeah. So TRNE is the ticker symbol. That's all you need to know. Desktop Metal. So you've seen 3D printing, right, with the plastic?
Yeah.
They're doing that with metal now, and they're engineering parts, gears, all this stuff. And our boy CP Shamant, he's a big advocate for this one too.
Yeah.
So that's what got us started in that one, and I think that'll be a good one. We saw another pullback after a really good week last week. It's probably overbought last week.
Yeah, and this one I think is still in the early innings. So we're up a little bit on our positions in this one. We got in a couple weeks ago, but it's still trading, I believe, in the lower teens. So there's going to be a lot of runway left on this as we get closer to the validation of the merger and the announcement of timeline. So I think there's a buying opportunity for this as well.
For sure. And that's going to be a big hype one once it comes down to closer to the merger date, which is before the end of the new year.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the week ahead. I look at some of the macro events. We had last week we had the Fed come out and reaffirm they're not raising interest rates till 2023. So basically there's nowhere else to be than the stock market or the SPAC market now if you want to get a return on your money.
Right, for sure.
Doesn't seem like we're going to have a lot. There's really not much for notable macro events coming this week. Like we said earlier, we're still anticipating some increasing volatility as we near closer to the election. We've heard a lot of different headlines from the various pharmaceutical companies about and the CDC and our president on when the COVID vaccine is going to be ready, approved, and distributed to Americans. So, that's something we keep an eye on for every week, because if there's a positive or a negative headline there, it changes market sentiment really quick.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw when the pandemic started in March, how it changed the market.
Yeah.
People get scared. People pull out.
Yeah, exactly.
Pull out game strong.
and they create those buying opportunities to get in and ride the wave back up. So
yeah. So a few things that we're looking for next week, a few trades that we'll be making. SPE, want to get further into that one, I think.
Yeah.
With the anticipated real announcement.
Yeah. If there's a validation of that rumor on Switchback Energy, that's going to send the stock flying even higher. So I think that one, not only just for that announcement, but if it's true, that's going to be a good company to own. They just raised, I think it's a private company now. Their last round of funding gave them about a $1.6 billion valuation. The SPAC has them just north of 2. So we're not too far off that last round of funding. And once this hype starts building up, I think you're going to see the multiple continue to expand.
No doubt. And I think Snowflake, that'll be with a continued weakness on melting. That one. Yeah. And if it does, we'll be looking out for it, because that's a pretty cool company. It has high hopes, and it just IPO'd this last week, like we said. So
we're looking for a better entry point.
Yeah, for sure. Because those IPOs, they hit the market and they skyrocket. So it's hard to get a good price.
This I just want to talk one more time about the opportunity or the conviction we have around the SPAC model. I mean, Warren Buffett bought hundreds of $1 million worth prior to the IPO. His investment was essentially well more than doubled as soon as the retail investors were able to buy. So that's what's really great about the SPAC vehicles is it democratizes the initial public offering process, or the process of a company becoming public, where Bryce and I can get on these at the same time as Bill Ackman or Shamat can or other wealthy, Warren Buffett can. So that's why we really love SPACs as well, that are supporting and merging with strong companies that have a history of doing business and a great forecast going forward.
For sure. We like a level playing field around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Oracle, with that merge with TikTok going into business together, we might have to look at that one.
Yeah, Oracle
going forward.
Walmart may be a good place to put some money in too.
Yeah.
Like I said, that might kind of give the validation to Walmart that they're turning the corner to become more of a tech company.
And Walmart's doing Walmart Plus now, like Amazon Prime sort of situation.
Yeah.
And they're in merges with, is it Shopify and BigCommerce?
I'm not sure on that one.
Shopify might not be, but I think BigCommerce and Walmart are working together in some aspect. And then some earnings for next week.
I wanted to talk about one more. It kind of just came to mind, but we had discussed this a week or two back, and it's actually something I noticed a little bit on TikTok. So McDonald's, I think that is actually going to be a great place to park some money. I accumulated a few shares, and the catalyst for me buying was I started seeing people order the Travis Scott burger.
I was just going to say the Travis Scott burger. Yeah.
So, but McDonald's reported they are having a hard time satisfying demand. I mean, that partnership was genius. I mean, it's driving a ton of customers to the restaurant, whether they're making a silly video or not. But
Mm-hmm.
that's going to change the earnings consensus for sure on their sales. So not a bad time to accumulate some McDonald's, buy it on dips, and get ready for that next earnings report.
That's a great addition. I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
you see those videos all over the place, and they're making pretty funny videos. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It makes me kind of want to go try one.
You know what I'm here for.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, those earnings next week. We're looking at Nike and Costco.
Yeah.
Nike's on Tuesday, Costco's on Thursday.
Yeah.
Pretty good pandemic. I mean, you see people shopping online all the time. I think that'd be pretty good for Nike and Costco. Grocery store, obviously, it's always a good time.
Yeah, Costco's they have a great business model that I've admired for years. They definitely benefited being a bulk provider through the pandemic, and I don't think they lost a ton of that momentum. So that I'm expecting, and obviously their earnings are in the rearview mirror, so they're not forward looking. So I'm expecting really strong earnings because you're going to see how their business performed during kind of the peak times in the pandemic.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. So we want to get on that.
Numbers.
I still have no idea why they sold out at the beginning of this thing.
That was crazy.
And water, like I don't know, who knows?
Yeah,
people thought the world was ending,
but
I've been asking myself that for months.
No, I know, and I think it'll be pretty strong. So. I think that kind of wraps it up for us for this week. We definitely want our listeners to submit some questions. So if anything we spoke about was a catalyst for a question or a light bulb moment for you, send it our way. We'd love to respond to your question or maybe poke some holes into the ideas we have for investments. We'd really like to become more engaged with our investors. So we hope to answer those questions on future episodes.
For sure. And in the comments below, we want to know what your guys' best and worst trades are from each week.
Yeah.
And then we just want to know what other stocks you have conviction on. Let us know.
Yeah. We want to know what we're missing out on.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll do our best to give you what we know. That's the whole point of this.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending some time. I hope I'm addressing more than one person. We're pretty new with our podcast, but hit the like and subscribe button, and we look forward to producing more content. And please send us some feedback if there's something else you'd like to see on our episodes.
For sure. Well, I think this is good, Ryan.
Yeah. Let's sign off and best of luck on a great week of trading.
Right on. Talk to you later, guys.